EVs are hard. If they were easy, GM would be doing them. This is a comment that I read yesterday, actually, and I would agree, especially if you're in Europe. Although, as a side note, GM is actually bringing back the Chevy Bolt. I'm not really sure why they stopped production for it a year or two ago, because it has been loved by a lot of people and they sold loads of them. So if you're in Europe, you'll know just how difficult it is for a vehicle manufacturer to be able to even sell you an EV, because if they've got no batteries to buy, they can't sell you an EV. That's just the nature of the beast. So in 2023, the European Union's battery cell production capacity reached approximately 175 gigawatt hours. In China, just for perspective, 1,170 gigawatt hours of total capacity. Obviously, in Europe, we have a lot of minerals to produce batteries, and we could produce a lot more than we have been. We've just been very, very slow and laggy, and the Chinese were very, very bullish. You know, they really wanted to try and get ahead in the market, and then now we are making it hard to buy their stuff. As you can see, that's a really big difference. Hence, at the moment, we're waiting for Northvolt to scale up and, put simply, to get good at producing batteries, and also to produce less waste and just be better at it in general. So a BMW spokesperson said, and it may seem a bit PR speaky, and you'd be right, I think, Northvolt and the BMW Group have jointly decided to shift Northvolt's focus towards developing next-generation battery cells. I don't believe that. The BMW Group remains committed to fostering a high-performance manufacturer of circular and sustainable battery cells in Europe. So to fill this gap left by the cancellation with Northvolt and BMW, Samsung SDI, the company SDI by Samsung, stepped in basically to supply BMW with the necessary batteries. I believe they're not LFP chemistry either. So just before I carry on, I'm Ben Alexander and I make EV news videos every day. Thank you very much to all of you for tuning in. It's really, really nice. I've just taken off a few days, as you know. I was a bit dead in the last 2 or 3 videos. I had a super bad flu, and I don't really get ill very often. I'm mostly fine now, which is lovely. If you're interested in these sort of videos, please consider subscribing, and just put any thoughts you have below in the comments, because it helps my videos spread, basically. According to Manager magazine, Northvolt is struggling to scale up its industrial series production and basically just get running and get really producing serious numbers. They're 2 years behind, apparently, and generating 30 to 40% excess waste than what they need to be. And interestingly, if you read the Google reviews for Northvolt Ett, which is at the top of Sweden, there are actually a few people, and it's a bit weird, over the course of 1 or 2 years, a few people, and I imagine they don't know each other, saying coincidentally the same thing. They're basically just saying that people don't know what they're doing, and they're a bit gormless and clueless, and they're just faffing around, not knowing what they're doing. And it was just interesting that several people wrote this, and one person even said that they were sacked because their kid was sick, which suggests they aren't behaving like typical Swedish, Norwegian employees. They typically don't just sack someone for having a day off work like that, unless you're in an American or maybe even a British company, where they're a bit more aggressive and they don't really treat employees very well. So I will do a bit more digging into this and research into, you know, what's going on with the employers. Have they got a big union, for example, at Northvolt? I've no idea. I'm going to check into this. In January, Northvolt secured a $5 billion loan to expand the Northvolt Ett plant in the very top of Sweden and enhance its battery recycling capabilities so that it can recycle a seriously huge amount of stuff, as that's kind of part of the push in the EU, not just to be able to sell EVs, but to recycle batteries too, as and when they need to be recycled. So basically, in March, Northvolt commenced construction on a battery gigafactory in Heide in Germany. And recently, Northvolt announced it was reassessing its plans to build a new factory in a place called Borlänge in Sweden. So this follows a report from Swedish newspaper Dagens Industry, so the Days Industry, and they basically cited a municipal official, so somebody from the local council or commune there, and they basically said that the factory plans may be cancelled. So the permission to build a gigafactory in that place may be cancelled, which I just thought was an interesting thing to throw in. Northvolt is having a ropey time at the minute, I think.
Now, I wanted to add this bit whilst I'm just sat here editing. Sometimes I like to come outside and edit when I'm sat at a nice place like this. But why would they build Northvolt Ett in the top of Sweden, in basically, North Pole conditions in the top of Sweden, really far from anywhere? There are some really good reasons, actually. So I thought I'd go into what those reasons are. So basically, it's actually just not a bad location for it. So basically, Northern Europe, including countries like Finland and Norway, they've got a lot of mining operations, a lot of people that know how to do things like mining for some of the critical materials such as lithium and cobalt and nickel and graphite, for example. You need these for batteries, depending on the battery chemistry. It's near Finland. So Finland is also home to several really large mining projects, focused on nickel, cobalt, and lithium. And the country has developed a really strong industry and has a lot of professionals and engineers with companies, for example, like Keliber, lithium, and Terrafame, nickel and cobalt. So Norway also, obviously people know, has a lot of resources of nickel and cobalt, contributing to the supply chain for battery production. So that there are some good reasons. Also, one of the big things is that within the EU there's a big push for being, green, or some people see it as virtue signalling on a national scale or international scale, but it still is very important. Obviously, it's a step in the right direction. So basically, they want this to be powered by, say, wind and solar, and they want to use a lot of battery storage, water, basically. There's a lot of places where you can use pumped hydro or battery hydro storage, And Sweden and Norway, perfect for this. So that is also a big reason you can pump up water in a dam and then just use it as and when, in the night time, for example. Also, recycling facilities. Northern Europe, they've got really advanced recycling facilities for battery materials. These facilities help recover valuable metals from used batteries, and that basically contributes to a circular economy, and that reduces the need for raw materials every time you want to build a battery. That aligns with Northvolt's sustainability goals, and also the wishes and the wants of the EU. From a transport and logistical perspective, northern Sweden is really, really good. It is very remote, but it has good transport links to major European markets, and the proximity to ports such as the port of Luleå, that facilitates the import of raw materials and export of finished products. And also there is the presence of rail and road networks that they go really direct to Skellefteå, and this is a big deal. So I just wanted to add that in. I know it's a bit weird to come out and sit in a field like this, but this is sometimes the sort of place I might come and edit a video, just because I get a lot of cabin fever. Sitting in a house or in an office all day can kind of suck, and so coming out and sitting in a place like this is quite nice, actually, hearing the tweety birds and stuff. So thank you for watching, and I hope that helped clear that question up a little bit. It's actually quite a convenient, practical place. It's not just about how far it is away from big cities, for example, like Hamburg or Brussels. It's not about that. They don't need to do battery manufacturing really close to those places. There's just the misconception that will be the best thing to do. It's not always.
Thank you for watching. I hope this was interesting, and thank you for being patient. I've had a few days off, obviously. Any comments, put them in the comment section below. I'll get back to you, and thank you very much.